Good evening, guys, and happy Sunday to all your sunshiny faces. Well, guys, like yesterday and especially last weekend, we didn't end up getting to a whole lot, especially like attic cleaning or, sort of anything like I feel like extra. Like normally we sort of get the fridge cleaned out and like I do produce prep, make meal prep stuff, whatever, like normally on the weekends too, like a lot of times on Saturday. So I did that yesterday and sort of last week too, but like we didn't, and because the Super Bowl too last week and the party we had to go to, I felt like we didn't get really anything like done last weekend. And then yesterday we didn't really, but today I was so happy because we have like a handful of boxes that are in one section in the attic that we needed to go through so that we can, it was mainly like books, like especially like homeschool books from back when me and Matthew were homeschooled, and also too like other like just like papers and things like that, especially like school papers and all that kind of stuff. And while we had originally boxes and boxes of school papers, for the most part we've condensed it down to one tote worth of school papers. That is sort of just like, again, like school paper sort of things, like like either just like journals maybe, or again stuff that was like more personal that we did, like if it was just like a worksheet that was like, oh, fill in a blank sort of thing, or something like dumb like that, or if it was just like a spelling test we took or something, like it's not really like entirely worth saving. If it was something that like we colored or we did in art class, or again like it was a writing prompt or journal, or again like something you were really proud of, like I remember in 7th grade I took the like not placement test, but it was like you had to name, place all of the states, all of the Great Lakes, I think sort of maybe like the oceans or something like that. But I did that and I got 100% on it and I was so proud of myself. Like that was like one of the things that I was like studying for so much, and I learned all these little tricks too that I still remember to this day. So like that's why like I am really good at geography when it comes to the United States, and really I feel like just like the world in general maybe. There's like a handful of like probably smaller countries too that I don't really know, or don't really know where I like to place them. I probably would know the general area where they are, but maybe not exactly like this exact country location if you gave me a map or something like that. But again, like I was so proud of myself on that test. So when I came across it, that's one of the few, like I said, sort of just like random things I ended up saving. But anyway, so like I said, I ended up saving like that, but for the most part it was just like if it was like a math worksheet or like something like that, we were like, let's just get rid of this kind of stuff because really we don't need that kind of stuff anymore. We are well grown, and again, like my mom gonna do, put it on the fridge now, like I said, or what are we gonna do, go back and look at it? But again, like some of the things too, like report cards, and like I said, just like personal journals and stuff like that, because it is sort of like like when you look back, it's like a little flashback sort of into your life, I feel like, as to like maybe what you were thinking, or your thoughts or your opinion on something, whatever it was. Like again, if there was like a writing prompt or journal, or again like it was a project maybe for a specific, like most of my bigger projects too, like that were like high school ones, like a book report maybe or something like that, that was a little bit, like I said, more personal than just like again filling out a piece of paper or something like that. You had to fill in like vowels or something like that, like when I was little, like that kind of stuff. I was like, why keep that? It was just me putting an A in the word cat or something, like it's not worth it. But like again, those book reports or something like that, or again a journal or whatever, those were the type of things that we saved. But we condensed, again, we've probably gone through, gosh, I know I went through 2 big boxes, and I want to say no, probably 4 big boxes. We've condensed everything down to one tote, and we still have enough room to still add things. So if we wind up coming across stuff, like I'm still putting it in there and we still have room. I currently have still 3 more boxes of school papers that are up in the attic that mainly look like it's my stuff, so that's why it's like stuff I have to go through. And since my mom was like around today to be able to help go through some of the things, that's when I was like, we should go through all the books that we had. So I think we have 4 boxes of books, and we still, now we've probably went through a total of like maybe 10 boxes of books. And like I said, mind you, we were homeschooled too, and so my mom had a lot of like curriculum and like a lot of just like other just like books too, like easy reader books. Like we had tons of that stuff because again, like homeschool, we were always doing, like I said, just like either easy readers or else, you know, other, you know, just like read alouds and stuff like that. So a lot of our good books we still saved, but we had just so many other random ones too that were just like little kid books and things like that that, you know, again, we went through. But out of all of that, I think we maybe have about 5 boxes of books left. So we've cut that at least in half, probably more than that even. Just like I said, based on like the size and quantity of the books that we had, it's like, you know, these were big boxes of books, and we've condensed them down to about 4 or 5 tote boxes worth of books. So like I said, I think that we've done pretty well with that. But that was the main thing we went through today. And again too, I was telling you guys, we've had so many bags and boxes worth of clothes too that we've gone through that have just sort of been crazy. Like I said, we've donated, like, I don't even know, pretty much every weekend we're at Goodwill dropping off donations because that is how much we have been there, you know, like how much stuff we've been getting rid of, which is awesome. And that means that again, there's more room in the attic for us to organize and be able to get to things, because right now too, it's like we'll clean out like a section of the attic. So we move through, and like if I divvy up the attic into sort of 4 quadrants right now, I have maybe around 1 sort of quadrant of the attic sort of left. And that's mainly where all of our holiday decorations are, which I find will probably wind up being hopefully the easiest part, just because that's something that we actually, and I had very organized as of recently. Now, since we've been doing the attic cleaning, and especially because we started it shortly after Jack's football season ended in like October or whatever, and then we started going through and cleaning out the attic, you know, the last again couple months sort of. And again, we really only like work on it sort of on the weekends, but because of that, it was really tough to sort of get all of the fall things put away because we had stuff sort of in the way, or was sort of barricaded off the area where we were supposed to be putting the holiday stuff. And so we need to be able to also too, when we took the like Christmas stuff out and then put the Christmas stuff back too, there's sort of like some stuff that's in the way where it shouldn't be. Like, it should be further back and, like I said, sort of put away. Right now it's not, it's just sort of like sitting out sort of in like, not one of the walkways, but it's just sort of like out in the middle of the attic instead of like put in the section where it's supposed to be. So other than that, which I feel like will be a pretty easy part to go through, that's just about all that we have left. There's, like I said, about I think 4 boxes or 3 boxes maybe worth of, it looks like some randomized papers and things like that, school papers, all that kind of stuff. Other than that, it looks like we are pretty much organized for the most part. But like the thing that we're doing is like, we'll go through, like I said, you know, we get a box and maybe, or maybe it's just random stuff that we picked up off the floor and we throw into a box, and then we bring that down and go through it, because there's stuff that, like, again, falls off of things or falls out of things or winds up on the floor for whatever reason, or couldn't fit in a box because it was too big, or, you know, whatever. And like there's random like toys. Like I found this, I used to have this little dog that was like battery powered and would just, it had like a little leash that you could sort of just like walk the dog, and I thought that was like so cool. And I was like 7, 8 years old, something like that, because my cousin had one. I wanted one so bad, and so I think my like aunt and uncle maybe got one for me for Christmas one year. I remember it, but I found that randomly on the floor in the attic, and I thought that I got rid of it like forever ago, but apparently, like I said, somehow it ended up in the attic. But like, you know, so that stuff, we picked that stuff up off the floor, and we got to go through. We've been going through, you know, the stuff, and then if I'm like, okay, well, this is like a puzzle piece to a puzzle, I have to then find the puzzle box or, you know, again, if it's like, oh, this was, you know, like a school paper thing or something like that, so I need to get this put into the school paper box, or, you know, this was a loose picture that was up in the attic, I need to get this to the loose picture box. Right now it's hard to get to some of those boxes, so we have extra boxes full of stuff that just needs to be organized as well, and like sorted out into the different boxes. So we have those things, but right now it's either hard to get to the boxes that are organized, or else it's hard to get to, you know, like I haven't gotten to that box yet, like we haven't organized that yet. And so again, like if it's Christmas stuff, I have like some random Christmas decorations in a box because I can't get to the Christmas stuff right now because again, there's things that are in the way, or we just haven't organized that section of the attic yet. So like I was saying, there is like, that is one of the other things, like once we finish that, we have to like I was saying, again, get to the actual organizing of, you know, the extra boxes of stuff that's just sort of random right now, until again we can put those things away where they belong. And I already did it once. It was not fun going through every single random puzzle piece that I have found that has fallen out of a box in the attic. Went through and tried to match all the pieces up, and on top of that too, we have like those, like the hardwood puzzles, and you know, that just have little pieces that you just like stick in there, and so we have a bunch of those. But like if we were gonna get rid of them or whatever, like I don't like giving things either to Goodwill if it's just like, oh, this is missing pieces or something like that, or you know, whatever. So that's why I'm like, we're waiting to get rid of any puzzles or, you know, games or anything like that, because if it was loose a piece, or you know, there was a piece missing or something like that, and I happen to have the extra piece in my box full of loose puzzles, loose puzzle pieces or whatever, you know, then I am gonna put those together before we, like I said, wind up giving them to a friend or giving them to Goodwill or whatever the case might be. So that's why I haven't, like, there's other things too, like also too, like we have a box of loose random shoes, because I'm pretty sure there's probably another match to the shoe. It's just probably in a different box somewhere that, again, was randomly thrown somewhere. It was, like I said, the box, you know, the shoe fell out of the box, and now I have one random shoe and I don't have the other one. And so I need to match all those up. So like I said, I'm not going to wind up giving those away if we don't have the other match to it. So that's why, like I said, I have been, you know, like there's other things too that like we're not keeping that are in the attic right now, but it's just stuff that we have to actually finish going through. So anywho, guys, that is what has been going on. We were working on a ton today, and I'm super happy with the progress that we wound up making. Like I've been telling you guys too, I mean, it was stacked in our attic full of stuff, because it was just the easy place to be like, I don't have time to deal with this right now. You know, again, like somebody cleans something up or, you know, whatever, they're like, okay, just throw it up in the attic, you know. And there have been boxes and boxes, and people have been doing that for forever. Like, you know, somebody cleans out a desk drawer and dumps stuff just in the box and then puts it up in the attic, and then that happened too. We found a huge, like, my mom moved, I think, her desk upstairs or something like that, but when she did that, she just took everything out of like one drawer, I think broke or something like that, so she just took all the stuff out, threw it into a box and some of the stuff on the desk, and put it up in the attic, and we had never went through it again. Finally, now we're going through it. So like that kind of stuff has happened a lot, and so that's what some of the random stuff is, you know, like then there's pens up there, and again, other stuff, and just random things, you know, like ink cartridge randomly in the attic, you know, because again, it was just the easy like go-to, like I don't have time to deal with this right now, but we need to either get this moved or we have to clean up or whatever the case might be, and it was always just throw it in the attic. And so like I said, now the attic is finally going to be a haven and an organized space where we can just put things where they need to belong, instead of just randomly sort of, again, just like, oh, we're gonna just clean this thing up, or we're gonna just do this or whatever, and just throwing it up in the attic. And then like too, like if we use like cardboard boxes, we put them up in the attic, sometimes the cardboard box over time, we'd either move it around or we stack other stuff on top of it, and the cardboard winds up like breaking, and then we have all the stuff fall out of the box, and it was a mess. Like I can't even tell you guys, like like I said, what it looked like a couple of months ago. It was almost impossible to walk through our attic in certain parts. Like we couldn't walk around to the other door in the attic. Like it was like I said, crazy. And now we can actually sweep the floors in the attic. We did that today, so that's why. Like I really see us being done probably again, even if we're only working it on the weekends, you can see it taking maybe, again, like a month or two at most, maybe, to finish. Just because I feel like we've been making really good progress. And then too, like the boxes, again, were like randomly my school papers and stuff like that. I can go through that on my own time. It doesn't have to be like, oh, we need to sit down all together on a Sunday and go through this. Like I can just go through it and figure out what's recyclable and what's not. So yeah, we were doing that while we were sort of watching like the closing ceremonies for the Olympics today. And we were watching the NBA All-Star game too, so yeah, because it's the first weekend without football, and that's what we were doing like ever since Jack's football ended. Sundays and even Saturdays too, like college football games, we were just spending them doing and watching, you know, sports games while we just bring down a box of stuff out of the attic and organize it and go through it. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, doesn't exist anymore. You know, we can't do football right now, and it looks like Major League Baseball won't be back on for, you know, a little while. And we did watch the Hawks game, but again, like, you know, we might not always have a sports game to watch on the weekends, and we're not, like, I'm not huge into watching really like other teams basketball. My mom really does not like basketball at all, but she does like football and hockey. I'm not huge into watching other hockey games. I probably watch other basketball games, like other teams, even if it's not the team that I care about, but my mom definitely does not like basketball. So since too we had the option of like, we could have been watching the Olympics, but it was just ended the exact same sort of weekend as football. So yeah, like I said, guys, now I'm like, I don't know what to do while like we're watching. Like we just have to like randomly put, like, we were watching a little bit of The Office today, and other than that, I'm like, yeah, football's over and we got nothing to watch now on the weekends while we finish doing this. But once we finish with the attic, me and my dad can actually start doing other project things. The attic is just a big thing that's really nice to be able to get done, because it's one less thing of non-organization stuff and, you know, just like a mess, you know. Like if we had to go in the attic to do something, because installing the light over the sink that we did in the kitchen, that my dad had to get into the attic and, like I said, weasel his way through while it was a mess up there to try and get in the spot, because our electric is run through most of the attic. So we had to get up there and try and do it, and it was sort of a pain. Now it's like, oh, just move those boxes out if you want to get to that spot, you know. So there's some other electrical things that we sort of wanted to do too, and that's another big reason why we can't do that unless we get this taken care of. We also need to get the attic insulated. There's sections of the attic that's insulated, but not all of it, because I don't know, the previous owners never finished doing it, and then when we came in, we had stuff to put in the attic, and then slowly just kept accumulating. And so there's, like I said, not entirely completely all insulated. It's like one side of it is sort of in like one section, and then part of it a little bit on the other side, but there are huge chunks for some reason, I don't know why they did that aren't, but the insulation is in the attic. They have rolls of insulation in the attic, but they just never finished it. I don't know. So anyways, guys, that's another thing too that like we need to get to, things that we have to get done, but having the attic taken care of will just be a huge thing that we can do, and then we can actually get to like construction sort of esque projects. Like there's a couple things in the kitchen we want to do still, you know, electrical things, all that kind of stuff that we need to finish up. But having the attic done since we started working on that, because again, it's hard to do some stuff where we have to go outside, like if we have to build something, paint something, whatever, we can't do that while it's freezing cold out, because like again, there's various reasons, but paint, for example, is temperature controlled. You can't really do that while it's freezing cold out. So again, we were like, what are we going to do over the winter? And we were like, let's take on the attic. So we've been doing it, and again, we'll probably come up to where it's again spring and nice outside. We can start then doing outside stuff that we need to, and again, other construction type things that have to be done, where we don't have to, you know, we'll have the attic done already because we worked on that over the winter. So anyways, guys, I will see you all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye, guys.